Hey, good morning, One Church. I'm Luther, and welcome to the Five After. Hope you enjoyed today's message. Pastor Chris brought just such a good word about what our new normal looks like as a church as we're moving forward, as we're moving forward in our faith individually in this new normal world that we're in. Just love the big idea today that the greater your faith in God, the stronger your relationship will be. Um, and so, guys, if you have questions or comments, now would be a great time. You can just drop those in. Whether you're joining us this morning on Facebook or on YouTube, if you'll comment those, I'll be able to see those. Good morning, Tracy. Thanks for hopping on here. Um, it's funny. This is a kind of a topic that is super real to me right now. As some of you know, one of our daughters is sick and in the hospital, and so that's why I'm doing our online campus today and not at our in-person gathering this morning. And so appreciate all your prayers, but having that kind of real faith, believing that God is the one who heals and who, at the end of the day, is in control of everything. We have great doctors available to us, having phenomenal nursing care, but at the end of the day, we believe that God is the great physician and that He is the one who will heal our daughter. And so, um, trying to have that kind of faith, man, I would love to have the kind of faith that Jesus would look down from heaven right now and say, "Wow, I'm astonished. I'm amazed." That's the kind of faith um, that I would love to have. And so this message kind of hit home to me this morning. So, but would love to see your comments and questions. Once again, guys, if you have not connected with us and done Connect 1C to 97,000, that is just such a great way to stay connected with our church. We send out prayer requests every Monday morning and just great messaging, just ways to stay connected and everything happening in the life of our church. I'm going to pull up here and pull this up on the Book of the Face on my phone just so I can read any comments there. Uh, Say good morning to, looks like Rhonda and Vanessa and some other folks have jumped on here. So glad you guys are hanging out with us this morning. I'll go on and pop up our small group questions for this morning. So, as you know, if you're new to joining us, every week when we prepare a sermon, we do a small group study that kind of goes along with it. And you can either use that in your small group like we do on Sunday nights, or you can use that as just kind of a personal devotional to kind of take what you hear on Sunday morning and dig in a little deeper all week long and see what else God has to say to you about what you learned on Sunday. A chance for you to kind of grow your faith, for you to go in and dig a little deeper and see if there's something there. So, these are available on our website or on the One Church app. So if you open up the One Church app and pop on one of the messages, you'll see where you can watch the message, and you'll also see where you can pull these small group questions up. And as I mentioned, Chris's big idea today was the greater your faith in God, the stronger your relationship will be. And so as I scroll down through here, I think it's a super cool question here, number two, for us to dig through. And does this kind of faith seem accessible to you, and why or why not? And I think for many of us, we think there's like these Christian all-stars that are in the Bible who had access to God in a way that we don't. Had access to get some kind of strange power or strange faith. And the reality is that there's not one thing that someone did in the Bible, or they didn't have any kind of access to God's Spirit, God's power, that you and I don't have today. God stopped the Bible being written because Jesus had fulfilled everything, but it doesn't mean that God's story isn't still being written today. And so you could be the same kind of person that if God was still writing his story in the form of the Bible, that would be in there today. So that faith is available to you. But that's a great question for some of us just to kind of dig through this week and have some kind of just honest personal introspection to just kind of see what would that look like for me? What is stopping me from having that kind of faith in Jesus? That if Jesus was to look at me, to look at how I reach out to him and believe that he could change my life, that Jesus would actually be amazed, that Jesus would have a wow moment. So say good morning to Peyton. Hey to you too. So Peyton handles all of our social media. and just does such a good job. So if you engage with One Church during the week on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or wherever any of that stuff happens, Peyton is usually the one making that happen, and she does just a great job. And so she's kind of that. If you message into us and need something, and you do that through a Facebook message or something, Peyton's usually that first person you're going to be in contact with before she sends that out to any of the rest of us. And as you can see there on her pic, Peyton has a new baby boy, Grayson. So glad she's back, kind of working part time and doing such a great job. So as I was looking through the other questions here, number 4, what about the centurion's faith stood out to Jesus? Besides faith, what are some of the other characteristics about the soldier that stand out from reading this passage? And I just think it was super cool how in the centurion's world, he acknowledged that there's this world that exists where people have command over things. And we live in a military community, and so that's very similar. We deal with people all the time who are, who have command over other people. I grew up on a military base, and I remember just being amazed that my dad was both enlisted and an officer. And I remember walking with my dad and him coming up to someone who outranked him when he was enlisted and stopping and saluting. And just everything stopped. And there was just that absolute regard for authority. And then I remember when my dad became a pilot and became an officer, that it happened the other way, that people would stop and salute my dad. And I think that's what we see here with this centurion. He is accustomed to being under authority and being in a position of authority. And when he sees that Jesus has authority over life and death and sickness, just thought that was super cool. And I think that's what really stood out to Jesus's faith, because this wasn't someone, like Chris said, who had grown up in the Jewish faith, who just the fact that he called him Lord would have made everyone around there just stop. Place probably went silent. And then when he repeated it, that really would have stood out to Jesus, that a Roman centurion would have called him Lord. So good morning to Michelle and Ashley. Thanks for jumping on and hanging out with us this morning. Looks like Michelle's got a little something to say to us here. Love today's message. My faith has grown stronger through great difficulties. Yeah, Michelle, yeah, you've been through some life, and we've been praying for you and hoping your health is still good. But yeah, it's so true. It's funny. Rarely do we ever grow when things are great. I know I'm not obviously like a huge workout guy, but when we work out, we tear muscles a little. We overwork them. If we want muscles that grow, we have to put them through some pain. And it's been the times in my life when I've walked through the most pain, either self-inflicted or by others, that God has had the ability to change me the most, to help me grow in my faith. I say to turn me into the man that he always wanted me to be. He just waited until I was in a position to be moldable and be changeable. And so many times it's only in pain and in trial that we are moldable and that we're available for God to turn us into the men and women that he wants us to be. So good morning to Elizabeth Mayfield. Thanks for hanging out here with you guys, hanging out with us. I saw you guys on this morning watching with us in the 9:00 service. And so I hope you guys are enjoying what we're doing here with Online Campus. We've got some changes coming to make it a little more interactive over the next couple of weeks. We'll probably change the 5 after just a little bit, as some of our folks have come back for our in-person services on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11 at 2111 Trenton Road. We are not forsaking what we're doing here online. In fact, quite honestly, we're using the language that One Church is becoming an online church with an in-person gathering. And so we understand that in the current world we live in and moving forward, this is the place where we're able to reach guests. We're able to reach people. As Chris talked about last week, the man on the couch is far more likely to hang out with us right here than he is to show up at an in-person gathering. Even though we've done all the things to make it safe, we have family groupings that are 6 feet away from everybody else. Singers are 12 feet away from you. We, just installed, in fact, last night, and for the first time went through and were able to fog the building with a disinfectant, an atomizer. So we're trying to do all the things to let those folks who feel comfortable coming back for in-person gatherings show up. But we know that's not our guest environment right now. And so thankful that you guys are still being a part of what we're doing online. Sherry, thanks for jumping on here with us. And yeah, we agree. Love the online. It's a great blessing. Like I said, we're going to be working over the next couple of weeks and just ongoing to find ways to make this more interactive, more creative, and make this a better experience for you. I am crazy blessed today that on a day where it just wasn't going to work for me to be at church with Rhonda at the hospital, with Esther and everything else going on, that I can be a part of our online church, that I can still go to church with the people that I love, that we can worship together, even though we're not in the same rooms, that when we're raising our voices into God's throne room singing, and when we're hearing his word together, we are together. We are the church in many locations. And so thankful you guys have jumped on here with us today. So guys, I just want to take a second and I'll close out, and I want to pray for us as a church and with everything going on. So thankful that so many of you, like I said, have prayed for us. And so if you would just continue to do that as we're praying that Esther gets better and gets to come home soon. So thankful for just the phenomenal nursing care and everything that we've gotten and the love from our church. And so it really is true that our small group has been amazing. And in fact, next week, we're going to have opportunities, if you've never joined a small group, to get in a small group. Our small group just went into an amazing version of loving on us and wanting to know if they could bring meals and help with the other kids and everything. And when we say that small group is the group of people that you do life with for a year, that they're the people you laugh with, you cry with, they're the first people you call in the middle of the night when life goes wrong. We have lived that out over the last several days with our group. And so I would encourage you now to start praying, start watching our social media, as we'll be sharing all week long ways that you can get into small groups. And whether you're whether you're a part of our online campus or a physical gathering, you can still join a small group this week. Because we've got groups that are meeting on Zoom. So we've got groups that you don't ever have to leave your house to be a part of, but you're still going to get that group experience. These are going to be the people that you do life with. They'll close that group off. So it'll be a place where you can trust, like Chris talked about today. And you'll be able to find accountability and encouragement and care, which is why we believe groups happen. So guys, just once again, love you. Thanks for jumping on here with us. Let me pray over us this morning and hope you guys have a great day. And as we mentioned, make sure you're sharing this with your friends. It's easy now. You've been to church this morning. You can now hop on, share the service, tell your friends you've been to church, and invite them, because we believe it's the message of Jesus that really changes lives. And so it's just a great way for you to do one of the 4 things that make you fully engaged at oneChurch. Invite. And right now you can invite on your digital platforms. God, I love you. And God, I believe that you are big and you are real. And that, God, I believe you show up in our personal lives. In fact, God, I believe you are worth trusting. God, help us all to have a faith that would make you go, wow. Help us all to believe you in such a way, not just believe you exist, but believe the things you say, that you're active in our life, that you're engaged in our life, that you're right here with us, that we never walk through anything alone. To believe those things in such a way that you would be the first place we go with our problems. You would be our first place of strength and power and joy, and that, God, it would make us look different, and that, God, people would be attracted to you because of the way we walk with you. So, God, I love you, and I thank you for the people you're reaching on Facebook and on YouTube and on our app and in our in-person gathering right now, God, because we do believe that it is only the power of Jesus that changes lives. And in your precious name, amen. Hey, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on here today. Y'all have a great week. We will see you next week. And once again, don't forget, be looking at those groups this week. We want to see you in a small group.